you doing?
What's going on? Happy Friday to all the folks out
Happy
there.
Friday, everybody.
Yes, thank you for all those who tune in on a regular basis, and welcome to all
Yes,
the newcomers.
yes, appreciate it. Before I get started, by the way, this is going to be Around the World of Sports, Week 19. Before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to D Mills 07, who hit me up in my comments earlier this week. He loves the Sporty Shorty show. So props to D Mills. He left me a lot of good advice and support, and just want to express to me how much he loved my show. So big shout out to D Mills 07. Keep watching, and I do this because I love it, but I also do it for people like him
Okay.
who watch the show and show great support.
Nice.
And reach out to me and let me know that. I really appreciated that. So again, shout out to D Mills.
Okay.
Keep
shout
watching,
out.
and thank you very much for your support and your advice. Much appreciated. Let's get started. Start with boxing. This last weekend, my man Shakur Stevenson, he moved up to lightweight, 135 pounds now. He's in a real serious division right now.
That's a serious division.
That's a
for
serious division. So he fought this guy, Shichiro Yoshino, Japanese fighter. Scrappy fighter. He did what he could do. Just being real, he did what he could do, but
what he could do.
What happened was what I expected to happen. Shakur Stevenson, 6-round TKO. Shakur Stevenson handled his business. Again, just doesn't get hit much. Doesn't get hit much. And Shakur Stevenson is that dude. He just is that dude. He just makes a lot of guys look bad. And nobody really wants to fight him. But now that he's in the 135 division, Devin Haney.
Devin Haney.
He called out Devin Haney.
He sure did.
And he's like, he knows Devin Haney very well. They sparred before. And Shakur Stevenson says when they spar, he gets the best of him. So he's like, bring on Devin Haney. I'm ready. So I would love to see that fight.
Indeed.
I would love to see that. Devin Haney still has to fight Lomachenko coming up. But if Devin Haney does what he's supposed to do against Lomachenko, I would love to see Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney get it on. And I would pick Shakur Stevenson. And I love Devin Haney. But I would pick Shakur Stevenson against almost anybody.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem.
He's a problem for anybody. He's going to be a problem at 135. Because Shakur Stevenson is starting to get his grown man body. Starting to come in. He's only about 25 years old. But he's starting, he's a little guy, but he's starting to fill out. And you can see it in the shoulders. You can see he's starting to fill out. So that would be a good fight. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park for Shakur Stevenson because Devin Haney's that dude too. But I think Shakur Stevenson, I would give him the edge.
Okay. Would be for a good match, though.
It would make for a good match. I could see that going the distance. I don't even see a knockout in that fight. I could really see that going 10 or 12 rounds.
Agreed.
I could really see it going the distance, but I think Shakur Stevenson just a little bit more skilled. I think he's a little bit more skilled, a little bit, I don't know. It's just, to me, he's a little slicker.
Okay.
He's a little slicker of a boxer. Moving on, the undercard. Jared Big Baby Anderson versus George Arias, 3rd round knockout. George Arias had no business being in the ring with Big Baby. Jared Anderson is a problem. He's an up-and-coming American heavyweight, and I think he's going to be a problem. For a heavyweight, that guy throws a lot of punches. And he's fast. He's a slick boxer. They say he does a lot of running, and a lot of heavyweights don't run. He runs. So his cardio was on point.
Right.
Yeah, George Arias had no business being in the ring with this guy.
No.
I think Big Baby's gonna be something special. He's one of my guys that I look at that's like, oh yeah, he got something. He got something. So he's my number 2 up and coming guy.
Okay.
My number one up-and-coming guy who I always talk about on here when I talk about boxing is my man Keyshawn Davis. He's a lightweight also. He fought this guy Anthony Yiggett. 9th round TKO. So Keyshawn got some rounds in. I think he could have ended the fight earlier.
Yeah.
But
he was doing some practice work
I think Keyshawn was getting his cardio on. And he wanted to get some rounds in. You know, he's dancing around a little bit, but I think Keyshawn could have taken him out earlier.
Agreed.
But I think Keyshawn really just wanted people to see him. Because he's been knocking people out a lot earlier in general, and I think he could have had this guy.
Yep.
But I think Keyshawn wanted to get some work in. I think he wanted to just practice and put some of the work in that he's been doing in the gym. I think he wanted to do it on a bigger stage. So Keyshawn, he's my number one prospect, up and coming guys.
Okay.
He's my number one. I think he's going to be special. So if you haven't seen him fight, and you like boxing, look out for Keyshawn Davis. I say it all the time. Speaking of fights, last weekend, Rudy Gobert versus his teammate, Kyle Anderson, speaking of fights.
We're not speaking of boxing.
We're not talking about
fights.
boxing. This is the NBA right now we're talking about.
Different kind of fight.
But a different type of fight with your own teammate.
No, not cool.
Not cool at all. We're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert. Throwing a punch at Kyle Slow-Mo Anderson. There's a lot to unpack here. Apparently, it was a timeout. They were by their bench, and they got into an argument. Apparently, Slow-Mo told Rudy Gobert to block some shots. Rudy Gobert did not like that, so he told Kyle Anderson to rebound. Kyle Anderson did not like the way that Rudy Gobert told him to rebound. So I'm going to clean this up just in case kids are watching.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm going to clean this up.
Like he didn't like this and he didn't like that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to keep it PG. Because I know that kids watch me sometimes. So basically Kyle Anderson told him to shut the F up and then proceeded to call him a B. Obviously Rudy Gobert didn't like that. So he decided to punch Kyle Anderson in the chest. Boof. Torian Prince didn't like that either, so he pushed Rudy Gobert from the situation. Kyle Anderson was trying very hard to get at Rudy Gobert, and a lot of people got in the way. And at that point, the situation was diffused. So Rudy Gobert goes back to the locker room. They told him not to come back out and play for the second half. Subsequently, Rudy Gobert got suspended for the next game, which happened to be a playing game. I'm glad that he got suspended because you can't throw punches like that at your teammate, especially in front of an audience. Like, fans don't need to see that. If you have something to do that in the locker room. Do that in a locker room where there's no cameras. You don't want to do that in front of fans. People don't come pay money to see you fight with your teammate. They don't pay money to see you fight, period. But, like, you got to set a better example. Now, I'm one to say, like, back in the day, I probably would have thought differently. But I've matured, and there's ways you handle things and ways you do not handle things. I thought that could have been handled in the locker room, behind closed doors. You don't do that publicly. So both guys were wrong, but Rudy Gobert was more wrong for actually throwing a punch at his teammate. And in fairness to him, he has apologized. He apologized to Kyle Anderson. He apologized to the team. And he apologized to the fans. You just can't have that happen. Add insult to injury, Jaden McDaniels, another player on the team, got into foul trouble and decided to go back in the tunnel and punch a wall. he broke his hand. So he's out for the rest of the season. And those are two guys, Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, who are starters on the team. Very valuable parts to their team. And you just can't have that. At the end of the season, going into the playoffs, you can't have that. You just can't have it. Hopefully both guys learn from that. Even Kyle Anderson, hopefully he learns from that, because you don't want to call your teammate a B. You just don't want to do that. It happens in sports. But do that in the locker room if you have to do it. Don't do it on your bench. And don't do it in front of the other team, because the other team, a lot of times they'll see stuff like that and they're like, oh, we got them. We got them. And again, you don't want to do that in front of fans, because a lot of times there's a lot of kids in those stands. You don't want them to have to see that. So I'll leave it there on that. Hopefully the organization and those players learn from that situation. What I really want to cover is the WNBA draft that took place on Monday. I'm not going to go through everything, because obviously it's a long draft.
Right.
But I want to congratulate all the young women that were selected. Congratulations to them and their WNBA journeys. Oh, I'm going to highlight the first pick, though, Aaliyah Boston out of South Carolina, 6'5" big. She was drafted by the Indiana Fever. So props to Aaliyah Boston on being the first pick. I think she's going to do really big things in the WNBA.
Nice.
She'll probably end up being a superstar. So shout out to Aaliyah Boston being the first pick in the draft. I want to highlight my sporty shorties, though. Zaya Cook, 5'9" out of South Carolina also. And Alexis Morris, 5'6" out of LSU, who I've talked about before in a couple of videos ago. Zaya Cook was drafted by the LA Sparks. Think the LA Sparks got a good one. Zaya Cook also gets my award for best fit of the night.
Oh yes. She did really nice.
She was ballroom ready. She had a black dress on with silver, and she looked really good. She looked really good. So Zaya Cook gets my best fit of the night award. Also, I could tell she really wants it. She was balling. Tears were streaming down her face. Like, I could tell she really wants it. So I look forward to her doing really good things in the WNBA.
Yeah.
And I liked how she conducted herself that night, that evening. So big shout out to Zaya Cook. Also, like I said, Alexis Morris, who I've spoken about. She's going to be going to Connecticut Sun. I wanted her to go in the first round. She didn't get drafted until the second round, and she was actually there in the green room. So I was feeling bad for her when pick after pick, her name wasn't being called. I'm just happy that her name was actually called.
Absolutely.
I was very happy that her name was called, because she's been a long shot, just in terms of people doubting her in her basketball career. Like I said before, she was cut from her team. She played for Baylor her freshman year. She was cut from the team for some type of disciplinary reasons. But LSU picked her up. The same coach, Ken Mulkey, picked her up at LSU when she got a second chance at her basketball career. And now she's a WNBA player.
Awesome.
The Connecticut Sun, they got to steal. They got to steal. I think Alexis Morris is going to be very good for them, because she plays with a chip on her shoulder. So she definitely gets my Sporty Shorty award. So shout out to Alexis Morris. I really root for her.
Yeah.
I hope she does very well for them. Another WNBA topic is charter flights, which I discussed on this channel before. The WNBA is now going to allow charter flights for some games, which is a start. It's not complete, but it's a start, because they weren't allowing charter flights at all. They're going to start having charter flights for all playoff games and also for back-to-back games. So I applaud the WNBA for actually making that change. Hopefully they implement it fully for all games, but it's a start. And I give props to WNBA players who actually really like they took this on as a mission to get this accomplished.
Yes.
So shout out to them and them being urgent in pursuing this, and them, you know, them being forceful in pursuing these charter flights, which the NBA players all have. So shout out to them. I'm gonna leave it there though, but I just wanted to make sure I mention the charter flight situation.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a serious topic.
It's a serious topic, especially with COVID-19 and all these variants going around.
And not only that, also the ripple effect that the airlines have had with as far as canceling flights and delays.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare. If anyone has flown post COVID, you're well aware that it's just been really chaotic when it comes to knowing if you're going to get somewhere at all or on time. So that's good that they really finally instituted that, at least in this first implementation, and we'll see. Hopefully, it goes even further.
Yeah. Also, my Knicks, they're in the playoffs. I'm like, I cannot just go through this whole show and not mention my New York Knicks. I got the hat on. Like, come on, let's go.
Come on, let's go.
They play Cleveland tomorrow.
Okay.
First game of the playoffs. The playoffs officially start tomorrow.
Saturday
afternoon,
April
Saturday, April 15th. Yeah, so it's not just tax day. It's NBA playoff day too.
Well, tax day is
So
one day.
yeah. Well, whatever day, tax weekend, whatever you want to call it. Hey, listen, the playoffs start tomorrow. The NBA playoffs start tomorrow.
About.
That's really all I care about. Go Knicks.
Go Knicks.
Hopefully Julius Randle is back. We shall see if he plays. But go Knicks.
Go Knicks.
All y'all Knicks fans out there, enjoy the game.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's get it. Go New York.
All right.
Sporty Shorty signing out. Peace.